Hello everyone, this is ACHAI Akaya, and this is the first of a series of videos I'm starting here where I'm basically trying to learn how to play as a Protoss player here. And so what I'm going to be doing is uploading some first-person VODs, 1v1 games, as me playing as Protoss versus various other people. Some will be in ladder, some will be custom games. This game is a custom versus Elisa, who's playing as Terran, and we're playing on Steps of War. And as you can see right now, at 8 of 10 supply, the 8th probe coming out at this point in time. And basically what I want to do is put these videos up here, and obviously I'm bad at Protoss, like terror bad at Protoss, putting down my first pylon at 8. And if you guys have any suggestions or comments or anything that you think will help me figure out how to play Protoss appropriately, then please let me know. I did want to make a quick note here about this build. I put the pylon down on 8, and then that allows me to use the chrono boost for the next 2 probes. And then basically what I do is probe up here until around 12 or 13, I believe, and then get myself a gateway and sending out the scout on 11. So just some quick notes about items that I'm doing, and like I said, I am just now learning how to play Protoss, like seriously. Like, I've played Protoss in team games, and I always do stupid crap like cannon rushing and whatever, so I don't really know how to play them at all. Putting down the gateway on 13 though, as you can see there, and continuing to chrono boost probes. So basically I'm, building a little bit more economically minded, not going for any kind of cheesy rush or anything at this point. Throwing down the gas on 14 here, and then continuing to scout. Obviously my scouting not ideal, and trying to do some harassment on Elisa's probe here, or I'm sorry, his SCV building the barracks, but that is quickly met by another SCV from Elisa, and trying to get that that probe away from his SCV so that I can do a little bit more harassment after my shields regenerate. But at this point, at 15 of 18, and immediately sending probes into the assimilator as it finishes, and as you can see, his one SCV is still attacking my pylon there, and then trying to do some more scouting with my probe and see exactly what it is that he's got going on. Of course, not a whole lot of information right now, other than he does have a somewhat early refinery and a barracks, so probably going to see, my assumption at this point is that we're going to see some kind of a tech lab add-on, although he apparently has not gotten it yet. He's getting his orbital command, and there is one Marine out on the move here, although it looks like it might just be going to the entrance there. Yeah, scouting back to the entrance, seeing that there is it looks like a supply depot going down at the entrance, and trying to basically choke off the front of his base just a little bit there to prevent any early zealot harassment. As you can see, I did put down a cybernetics core and getting another assimilator right now. Now I can already tell you one thing I know that I'm doing right now is I did not get my second pylon early enough. I should have put that down at around 16, but only putting that down around 18, so that pylon, as you can see, is just now warping in, leaving me supply blocked for a short period of time. And immediately researching the warp gate upgrade as soon as the cyber core finishes, because that is so important for being able to macro up an army somewhat quickly. And apparently I had a little bit of a misclick there too, sending a probe to the assimilator. As you can see, it's just sitting right outside the assimilator there. But at this point, I did put down my second gateway a little bit ago, and continuing to chrono boost probes out right now, and getting a few zealots so that I can hopefully defend against any kind of early push if you were to put pressure on me early, and going to put down another pylon at the entrance, which of course once the warp gate technology is finished, my thinking is that'll allow me to warp in units towards the front of my base, or even on that low ground if I need to, since the pylon radius will actually reach to that low ground area. And then keeping this probe out in front of Elisa's base so I can see if he does try to move out, and then I also have it available for scouting if I want to check to see if he's taken an expansion or anything like that. And putting down a third gateway now as well. Basically, this is a form of a 4-gate that I'm trying to do here right now. So obviously, it's not perfectly timed or anything. And like I mentioned, I'm terrible at Protoss right now, so I'm really trying to learn a lot about the race. But at this point, trying to just continue to macro up more of an army here, and with 2 zealots and 1 stalker here, going to move out right now across the map, and putting down a proxy pylon out in front of Elisa's base, so that I can try to keep in warping in units once that warp gate technology is finished. And then of course just now getting ready to put down the 4th gateway. If I had timed that properly, my 4th gateway should have been finishing just about the same time the warp gate technology is finishing, which would allow me to have the 4-gate timed out relatively well. And of course my timing is bad so far, so I'm not really getting any good timing out of it. So, but there is a barracks from Elisa going to be scouting out my base, and I know I've mentioned this in others, but this is actually a good move by Elisa. Some people say, why not just use a scan instead of floating a tech building out there? But the tech building is only 150 minerals, and I'm sorry, I'll hold that thought real quick. Going to move up here and try to do an attack. Elisa has not yet walled off, so there is not a, it's not difficult to get into his base right now. Immediately taking down a couple of his Marines and getting a tank here, it looks like 2 as well. Possibly, although, yeah, he is going to try to repair it, but does not get the repair in time. And then trying to warp in some more units while pulling. I probably should have pulled those guys back while warping those units in, because obviously I took a little bit more hits than I should have from those SCVs. But getting those more stalkers up in there. Right now my unit mix is obviously very stalker heavy. I definitely need to get more zealots in there, and possibly even another sentry or two, because of course with the range, having that guardian shield would definitely be a good idea. And here comes the sentry. Apparently I left him behind there when I moved him from my base. And then trying to get more units in here. These SCVs just doing a ton of damage, though, basically acting as a line of defense for Elisa's Marines and such. So trying to get in there, picking off a couple more Marines. Here comes the guardian shield, a little bit late, but better late than never, I suppose, right? So getting in here, trying to do some damage to the Tech Lab add-on, because I know that Ravens are very, very powerful against Stalkers, especially because they basically stop any projectile attack from the Stalkers. And as you can see there, continuing to lose some units because I am not microing my battle, as well as handling the defense of taking out that scouting barracks, so that he's not able to basically keep an eye on everything that I'm doing. And then foolishly trying to take out that one supply depot for some reason, thinking that if I could take out the supply depot I might be able to make something happen if he was supply blocked, but I don't even know at this point if he is supply blocked or not. This is a live recording of the game. This isn't from a replay, so I can't actually go through and look at all of those different supply tabs and stuff like that. As you can see, though, I do have quite a stockpile of gas, and at this point not moving any of my tech forward, just now putting down a forge so that I can start getting some of the gateway upgrades. But another quick note too is that you can see I did not upgrade my fourth gateway yet to a warp gate. So of course another small, I'm pointing out some of the small mistakes that I made, but of course there are other things that I did that were wrong as well. And it looks like Elisa going to play a little bit more defensively, throwing down a bunker here, try to defend, and taking out that bunker, but then having to back off because all of the zealots were taken out in the process. Meanwhile, the stalkers back at my base playing defensively were able to take down that scouting barracks. So and actually putting down a Twilight Council now so that I can research Blink, because one of the things that I like to do, at this point I've only started playing Protoss somewhat seriously for a little bit, but one of the things I like to do against a Terran that's walling up like that is, if you have units, stalkers near the cliff, basically running a few zealots up to tank some of the damage and, try to pound on some of the buildings right in the front there, but then blinking up the stalkers on the side, and then if he's got tanks, you can focus fire down the tanks and try to take some of that stuff out to eliminate some of the splash damage, and actually using a chrono boost on that tech as well to make sure. And as you can see, my energy on my Nexus here really high still, so not using that very well. And the fourth gateway still not transformed into a warp gate yet, so you guys can see just how bad I am with Protoss right now. But yeah, basically just a Stalker Sentry army right now, trying to get a few zealots in there as well, and at this point really just waiting for the and yeah, as you can hear right there, pylons needed, supply blocking myself once again, but really just waiting for that blink upgrade to finish so that I can actually get try to mount another offensive and actually go at him once again. But it looks like going to be trying to get some more zealots in there. As you can see, running a little bit low on minerals right now, so trying to stay on top of the economic situation here. And I think it's actually pretty solid right now, despite the fact that I haven't expanded yet. I've actually been able to stay on top of my money and everything. And it looks like Elisa now getting out some Banshees as well, trying to snipe that Banshee, but not reacting quick enough with those Stalkers. And it looks like he's going to try to come in here and do some more damage, but the Stalkers and Sentries going to force him to back up once again. And warping in a few more Stalkers here, really trying to go Stalker heavy, just using those first few Zealots so that I can really just tank as much damage as possible, and then planning on doing a majority of the damage with the Stalkers once I get up in the base. And blinking up on the wrong side there, unfortunately. And as you can see, that point defense drone just making all of those Stalkers absolutely worthless, doing pretty much 0 damage with those Stalkers because I did not micro down that that point defense drone, and that is actually one of the areas that I would really like to particularly highlight and say, hey, how do you guys deal with this as a Protoss with a decent sized stalker army? Because obviously I can't focus fire down with my stalkers because it will kill that. The point defense drone will kill all those projectiles before it's able to do anything. And at this point, Elisa is moving out. We saw that he took out on the mini-map there. He did take out my pylon a little bit ago once he moved out of his base. So I am aware that he is at the very least moving out across the map, you know, out in front of his main there. And I'm assuming he's going to try to counterattack, which, yeah, there is his main army there moving in on the front of my natural expo right now. But, of course, I do not have hardly anything to defend against this because I lost pretty much my entire army when I was trying to break his front door. So basically 4 Stalkers, 4 Sentries, and 4 Zealots right now trying to take on this Terran army, which they have not yet engaged, but it looks like he is basically going to be bunkering up outside of my main here and just basically going for an all-in attack, trying to do some damage here. But of course, those siege tanks are far too much firepower and going to have to GG that game. And just basically going to show you some tabs of some of the score tabs here so you can see kind of how things broke down resource-wise, economy breakdown. It looks like we were pretty even. I actually had a slight lead in that. At least I had to create more workers because I killed so many of them on that first attack. But then, of course, my second attack was a complete failure, so that negated any damage that I did in the first one. Units tab here, as you can see, once again, he had a little bit of an advantage, but it was actually kind of close. And then on the graphs here, you can see that I was ahead for a good portion of it, and then that one attack there right around the 800 mark on the elapsed game time is where I really went down. And then resource collection rate, he did have a huge spike ahead of me initially, but then of course when I did that harassment, that dipping down and putting me slightly in the lead, and you can see just a steady gain from me throughout the whole game. So anyways, obviously I'm really bad at Protoss. I'm trying to learn, and that's why I wanted to create this series. I figured this would be a good learning experience not only for me, but also for anybody else that is trying to learn how to play the Protoss race, and maybe you were a Terran player or a Zerg player before. And you know, definitely put in the comments any suggestions you guys have or any notes or whatever. And not only I, but everybody else that is reading this, reading the comments and watching this videos will be able to benefit from that. And then of course, if you guys are liking this kind of videos, definitely comment on that as well and click the like link. And you know, if you like the videos in general, go ahead and subscribe. And thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. GG.